Okay, so for elements, okay, I'll just quickly go through the topic review lah. So elements is actually defined as something that cannot be broken down into simpler substances. Okay, this is actually the definition for element. Okay, and then for let's say sodium chloride, okay, this is actually a compound, right? This is a compound. There is sodium, there is chlorine in it. So if you pass electricity to break it down, you can get back sodium metal and chlorine gas. However, okay, when you actually try to pass electricity through sodium or chlorine, no more new products can be formed because they are already the simplest substance. Okay, and they are known as elements. Sodium is an element, chlorine gas is also an element. So no matter what you do, they cannot be broken down anymore. Okay, so when there's the question asking you about this, is sodium chloride an element? It is not, because it can be broken down into simpler substances. Then is sodium metal an element? Yes, of course, because it can no longer be broken down into simpler substances. Okay. Are you copying notes? Shami, you're copying, is it? Screenshot lah. It's faster. Heiyin also, right? Okay, good. So how do we represent elements? You know the periodic table by now? If you don't know, you can shake your head. It's okay. Then I'll tell you where to get it. Okay. If you look at your textbook, do you have your science textbook with you? Go to the back page. Okay, back page. So right at the back, okay, can you see the periodic table? Yeah, that is known as the periodic table. So let me just go through a little bit about periodic table. Okay, all elements are arranged, okay, into the periodic table of elements. So each element has a name and a symbol. If you were to look at the example on my screen, right, can you see the capital H and then there's a 1 at the side? Okay, two numbers. Then there is a very small font with the name hydrogen there. Can you locate this particular element inside the periodic table? If you look at your own periodic table, okay. Okay, if you look at the periodic table, you should be able to see it now. Let me grab my own book also. Right. Okay, do you see this periodic table? You can see it, right? So if you look at right at the top, you can see hydrogen. Yes or no? Yeah, so this is hydrogen. And then you can find many other elements as well. In your periodic table, you will see the number at the top and at the bottom. The key will tell you, okay, the key will tell you what are the numbers. So that means that the number at the top is known as proton number, or we call it atomic number. Then the number at the bottom is the relative atomic mass. Okay, relative atomic mass. You will not be tested on the relative atomic mass or the proton number yet, but you just need to know how to identify the symbol for the element as well as the name of the element. So hydrogen is represented by H, capital H. Then you look at the questions here, okay? Metallic element, all right? Can you find actually the name aluminium? If you can find aluminium, you will be able to see that the symbol is Al. If you can find, you give me a thumbs up, okay? Heiyin can find or not, Heiyin? Are you able? Aaron can find, huh? Heiyin can find it? Okay, Al. It is at if you were to look at the top, right, you will see the group, and then it tells you 13. Can you see 13? Aluminium is under the group 13 as stated. Hey, you're looking for your book now?
I found aluminum.
Very good. Okay, do you notice something about the L? Do you all notice something about L? How is it being written? It's a very different way of writing, correct or not? It's written with a curly line. Okay, let me explain to you why. I spent a bit of time on aluminum. Now, aluminum, if I write it for you, okay, usually when we write L, we just put a straight line, isn't it? Correct? But why is it that we don't want you to write the straight line like this? Okay, look for the element iodine. It is actually in group 17. Can you see? Group 17 towards the right hand side. Yeah, can you see a capital I, iodine? Okay, iodine is represented by the letter I, but they purposely write the I like this also, isn't it? Normally, we just write I like that, capital I, right? Okay, now take note, if I do not write it like this, if I don't write the aluminum like this small letter L might look like capital I. So we try to make it that way. Another good example will be chlorine. Chlorine is represented by Cl, okay? So we are going to write Cl like this. If you look for Cl, it's on top of iodine. We move up and up. You'll be able to see chlorine there, yes or no? So the L is written in a curly line because of the reason we don't want people to think that this is carbon and iodine, this particular one. Okay, so we will always make sure we try to write the L this way. So when you write formulas, you have to make sure it is clear enough for people to see. Is it okay so far? Now, so basically, you just need to identify the symbol for the various elements here. Okay, you can do it on your own. So we don't write it this way, we write it this way. Okay, so if you look for mercury, let's see 3 of you who can find mercury first. If you can find mercury, you unmute yourself and you tell me. Okay.
I found mercury already.
Okay, what's the symbol?
Hg.
Okay, it's written with a capital H. Is it big G or small g?
Small g.
Okay, take note, whenever we write symbol, right, the first letter will be capital letter. The second letter must be a small letter. So you notice that I write the G small, and then the copper, I write a very small U, right? So we don't want students to write like this. So let's say in the exam, if you write like this, you'll be marked wrong. We are quite strict about this. For chemistry, you have to be very specific. Okay. How about iron? Aaron, can you find iron, Aaron? Aaron is very quiet.
Yes.
Can you find iron? Tell me what's the symbol for iron?
Fe.
Capital F, small e. Good. Okay, can find carbon?
C.
Okay. And then oxygen?
O.
Right. So this is a repeat, right? So I don't want to repeat. Let me maybe okay. I changed this.
CU.
All right. C what?
CU.
CU?
CO.
CO.
I mean CO.
Yeah. So I this, we cancel this, can you all cancel the metallic, non-metallic? Right? We talk about metal and non-metals later. So you just cancel that in case you confuse yourself. We just talk about the name and the symbol. Now, this is my periodic table elements. It might look different from yours. Okay, let me highlight what are the differences. Okay, if you look at your own and you look at mine, all right, you will see that one very distinct difference will be over here. Can you all use your pencil or pen to write down something? I'm teaching you all something extra, a little bit extra today. Okay, now, so over here, if you look at the vertical ones, like going down this way, okay, we call these the group. Okay, so every column here will be the group. And then we write it in Roman numbers. Can you all see? Roman numbers. This is group 1. And this is group 2. When you go on to the next one, over the other side, okay, the center block here, we do not give them any group. But when you move on to where you see your 13, can you see your number 13 there? Yeah. When you see the number 13, write down, okay, you can write it at the bottom or above it. This I. Okay, these are actually group 3 elements. Okay, so these are actually the group 3 elements. Then the next one, you see 14, right? Can you write down IV? That will be group 4. And the next one, number is 15. Roman numbers you have to write as a V, capital V, group 5. And then 6, and then 7. Okay. And then the last one, you see the number 18 there. This is known as group 0. Group 0. Okay. Group 0 elements are the noble gases. You probably want to note it down as well. They are the noble gases. Okay. Have you gotten all this down? Then next, I'm going to teach you something else. Once you've written down, okay, let's go on. Now, I told you already, when you go by columns from the top to the bottom, right? We are talking about groups. So I just went through the groups with you. Group 1, group 2, the center block we ignore first. Then we have group 3, group 4, group 5, group 6, group 7, and group 0. Yes or no? Okay, as you go from left to right side, okay, we are talking about the period. So let me change my marker ink. I use black. Okay, period. So this is period 1. This is period 2. So from left to right, period 1. In period 1, I only have hydrogen and helium. Period 2, I have lithium, beryllium, okay, boron, and then all the way to neon. Can you see that? So this is period 3. Period 3, sodium all the way to argon. And then period 4 will be potassium all the way to krypton. Right? Then period 5, period 6, period 7. Clear on this? So if I ask you now, Hey Yin, can you tell me, okay, Hey Yin, can you tell me in period 4, group 5, what element is that? In period 4, group 5.